Hi, everyone. This is Jacqui Cooper with Love Travel Scotland. And today, Yvette and I are going to be talking about castles in Scotland. We are going to be doing a road trip around castles. Scotland is just blanketed with a wonderful history and a lot of visual architecture that makes it fun to explore and to visit. And for someone from the United States, visiting a castle is just super fun. Yvette, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm great. Thanks, Jacqui. Talking about our favorite subject, castles. We love a good castle, don't we?
We do.
For me, I think it's the romanticism behind them, not so much the horror, the history, and the gore of why they were built to defend places. I just like them because of the history and the romanticism.
I know. So, you are located in Scotland. Why don't you tell our listeners where you're located? And you were telling me how many castles are in your area, which is just phenomenal.
Yeah, right. So I'm in Aberdeenshire in Scotland, and in Scotland at once upon a time, in a far away land, there was over 3,000 castles in Scotland, and there was nearly one for every 100 square miles. So there is
Wow.
a lot of castles. Yep. So there's always many to go and visit. There's a lot of them that are obviously derelicts now, run down, haven't been looked after. They do take up quite a lot of money, but as well, I would imagine. Certainly going to be expensive to heat because of the old granite that they obviously built them with. But in Aberdeenshire, there's still roughly around about 260 castles. So if I was to go and visit them all just in my own area, that's going to take me quite some time. Have to fit in a couple a day, not just one a day.
Yeah. So we're going to be hopping and jumping all around Scotland, and we're going to be featuring places that you can visit as we all open up for travel. And we'll also talk about local businesses that might be around the castles, because we're also about supporting the local businesses. And then, if there is a piece of history that we want to feature, we'll do that. And then also if we'll be sharing different travel discounts. So that way, as you hop over to Scotland, you can have a discount at your favorite hotel or bed and breakfast or local eatery. Again, so definitely in the blog that will be connected to the podcast and the video portion of this, you'll be able to find a lot of these links. And definitely go to www.cooper-travel.com, cooper-travel.com, and that will get you over to the blog. That information will also be in the podcast and also in the video portion. But today we're going to start off our road trip to castles to Drum Castle. Now that's close to you, but how far away is that from you?
Oh, how far away is that from me? Let me just quickly check that on maps. We did a little bit of a detour. We were driving around at night and we weren't heading there specifically, but it's actually only a 14-minute drive from me. So it took a lot longer to get there. So that's only 7.4 miles away. It's definitely worth going to see. That's the picture of it behind me of one of the sites there.
So I'm looking at the picture. Is it near water, or is this a landlocked type of castle?
It is a landlocked type of castle. I think there may be a river or something running down near it. But it is most of our, well, I was going to say most of our castles are landlocked castles. That's not strictly true, because we've got quite a lot of them just perched perilously on the edge of cliffs on the coast. So I will have to actually look into and see if we do actually have any castles with moats around them. That might be quite interesting to look at. But
yeah, that would be.
We built them. We seem to have built them on the tops of the edges of cliffs. And one of my favourites, Dunnottar Castle. That is to get to Dunnottar Castle, which is up by Stonehaven, Jacqui. You park in the car park and then you take a nice little meandering walk down. But then you come to a load of steps. So it's not particularly disability accessible. However, they do have the beach buggies with the big wheels, so they can accommodate for people with disabilities. You would just want to get somebody to help you, not do it yourself. So you go all the way down the steps, and then when you get to the bottom, you've got a beautiful pebble beach on one side and some sandy beach on the other side, and some rocks as well, big rocks. And then just out in this rock on its own is the castle up the top of it. And there is a little bit of it left, but there's not too much of it. But I think the sea will take that eventually. But it's a really nice castle to go to and relax at. And coming back up those stairs is a bit difficult. So definitely take your time with that. Or like I said, make sure that you ask somebody for accessible help for that one. But it's a nice castle to go to and catch your thoughts with and skim some stones into the sea next to it.
That
It's
sounds
usually quite
very
good in the
nice.
summer. And they do have a light bite type fan thing in the car park there as well. And I do think they cater for vegans too. It was closed when I was there because it was during lockdown, but I was looking at the signs, and I think they do cater for most people. So that's really good too, to get something to eat when you're out and about.
So Drum Castle, I'm looking at some of the pictures that you might not see on our video at the moment, but I do see that there is a castle shop and a tea room. So if when you do visit there, you can get a bite to eat. Again, subject to what's open around that time. It also has a garden of historic roses that I see, and we'll talk about that in a second. So I'm looking at a little bit of its history, and it says stroll through the old wood of Drum, home to oak trees dating back from the 1700s. And the chapel was built in the 1500s. And it has over 700 years of history in Drum's battlements, medieval square tower, and sprawling extensions. And it also says that the Royal Forest and Tower of Drum were given to the Irving family by the Robert the Bruce in 1323. And later, the mansion house was added. And in the Victorian era, the lower hall was converted to a library and now contains 4,000 books. And the Garden of Historic Roses is divided into quadrants. That shows how roses have been cultivated from the 17th to the 20th century. That's awesome for those of us that love flowers and walking through the garden.
Horticulture.
Yeah. And then it also says that the ancient oak forest adjoins the castle, and it provides a sense of continuity through the centuries, and a home for red kites, roe deer, red squirrels, and badgers. So when you
rabbits too. I seen lots of rabbits when I was there. Yeah. I might have seen a badger as well. I'm not too sure. I did say to my sister when she was driving to watch out for the deer, because we were out about the time of night that they like to come out and say hello as well. Yeah, it's got beautiful gardens in it, definitely, to walk around. And if you're only using the outside and just walking around the castle and taking photos, even when they're open, then I think it's just free to enter. There may be a car parking charge in the car park, but to walk around the grounds is definitely free. Oh, look, there's some beautiful pictures.
Yeah, this is from the rose garden, and it's showing definitely
Unfortunately, when I was there, it was dark and it was at night, so I didn't get to see any of the roses. But it's definitely going to be, I think, a plan that I'm going to make for the summer, is to just plot a route and go visit some of these castles that I haven't seen, because I have seen lots of them on my doorstep. Drum Castle, Fraser Castle, Crathis Castle. Those three castles were the three that we would have our school trips to from Aberdeenshire, with them being on our doorstep. So it was always a treat to us to go visit a castle.
So from what I'm seeing, for the garden, it showcases 4 centuries of garden design, formal knot gardens, box symmetry, and other types of gardens from the 17th and 18th century. So it says it's a labor of love.
Absolutely, it would, being the size that it is, it would be.
Yeah, no, I'm wondering, it doesn't say here why the Garden of Roses was created, but that might be an interesting story to
go and find out while you're there.
Yeah, it definitely would be.
I see that Drum Castle also received the Green Tourism Silver Award as well, so that's really good that they've been recognised for their efforts in green tourism too.
Yeah, so I wonder what, that's something that we'll have to look at to see what other castles have gotten that sort of recognition. Um, so in terms of, let's say, let's take a look at some castle pictures here. Oh, wow. Here, I will show you in one quick second. I'm going to share so that way those that might be following our video will be able to also take a look. So I see that a lot, the outside looks like what a castle would look like, and then the inside, it's interesting to see the rooms and the paintings.
Yes, because they'll have evolved over time, as well as I think part of the
Mhm.
castle was built in one century, and then another part of the castle definitely looks like it was built in a different century because of the different materials that they used. So it's been a long time since I've actually been in the castle, so it's really nice to actually see the pictures. I do
Yeah,
remember that
and like every castle, they always have a chapel.
chapel. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, do you happen to know, and maybe not, but this is something that we'll have to look up when we start touring more castles, is how many staff they might have had, or the family history. Let me see if I can find out a little bit more. It says here that this was, as I mentioned before, a gift from Robert the Bruce to his faithful confidant, William de Irwin. And it climbed the steep steps to the battlements at the top and enjoyed the stunning views over the estate. Again, there are, I'm looking at the history of it. He fought alongside Prince Charles Edward Stuart at Culloden. So again, that's a little bit of history.
Culloden.
Thank you. That's my American here.
That's up by Inverness.
Yeah. And again, they talk about how they have a second floor of the castle, and you can enjoy a program of temporary exhibitions throughout the year, showcasing the finest example of Scottish art. So again, when you end up booking into a, or visiting a castle, it is important to kind of look at what festivals are happening in that area, possibly what exhibitions are there, both from art to clothing. What else is around this castle? Is it a town or is it farms? What else is around it?
So Drum Castle, there is a few things around it. It is on its own, sitting in the middle of nowhere to start off with, but it is actually close to Drum Oak, which is possibly where Drum Oak got its name from, would be after the castle. And the oak trees, I would imagine. That makes sense, doesn't it? Drum for the castle, oak for the oak trees. So it's not very far away from Bankery. Bankery is a lovely holiday place to go and visit. It's got lots of green open spaces, lovely independent shops, and it's got a lovely river. I think it's the Dee River that runs through it, a nice bridge, and the few falls, which is always, they usually find when you're driving over that bridge in the summer, it's lined up with lots of people on either side having a look overneath and either wishing they were down there in the water cooling off because it's a rare hot Scotland day and they don't know what to do with it, or just enjoying the fish and the salmon jumping up the falls as well.
So with next to this castle, do they have, I know that Aberdeenshire has special cows. Do they have any of the special cows that people could see? I'm looking at a picture right now of a cow, but
Those special cows, the Highland cows.
yes.
Okay, I think I didn't see any of them, and but actually we are just coming out of winter and into spring, so haven't actually seen very many animals in the field around here at all. But it might be the Aberdeen Angus as well. That's the special cow.
And for those that might not know, you want to try to describe it?
It's big. I don't really know about anything about the Aberdeen Angus. It's big, and I think that the name has probably been trademarked, so that's made it more popular. Other than that, it's just a regular cow that comes from Aberdeen, but it's got a nice name. And yeah, so but I was looking, and it looks like Drum Castle has got a really nice eatery place as well. I was just looking at that. Let's see if I can find some of the information back. But it was by Mary's, and is what it's called, Mary's Eatery, I think. And they do gluten-free options as well as dairy-free options. So it's always nice to see. Yeah, it's Mary's Larder. It's always nice to see that other places, especially when you're out and about as a tourist and you've got, you know, dietary restrictions, etc., or things like that, that there are more places now catering for you. And Mary's Larder was named after a resourceful and plucky sister of the 17th century laird. And it says, we will see if that you're suitably refreshed. Enjoy a selection of coffees, teas, and hot chocolates, or something cooler in the hot weather. Our famous scones, made fresh every day, are a perfect snack to keep you energized. And their normal opening hours would be open between noon and 3 p.m. So if you are popping down there for an afternoon tea or something, that would be a great time to do it. But again, they are not open at the minute, so things should be opening up around about the middle end of April. So just check on their websites and get back to them and inquire with them. And I know that tourism in Scotland and even the local small businesses could do with everybody's help to get back out touring our local area.
Yep. So I have a map up now, and the little area in red, that's Aberdeenshire, and the little,
Aberdeenshire.
sorry, and the little mark in blue is actually where Drum Castle is, but it's not close enough to the water to actually see the water. But that's the
Is it, Jackie? Because that little mark in blue looks like Aberdeen City to me. It's harbour.
Drum Castle is, well, maybe this whole,
I think Drum Castle should be over on the left where you are. Maybe Drum Castle was right on the edge of the Cairngorms, so it's more inland as opposed to being on the coast.
inland over here then.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's around about there.
Yeah.
It's maybe about where you just were there. Yeah. And Dunnottar Castle is just on the coast where you were. Oh, there's a nice old picture.
Yep, it's an old picture of the castle.
That trees are probably still there too, because they do take good care of the garden.
And here's someone taking care of the garden. Let me flip back through to the other
Be
side.
mindful when you're taking the drive up to the Drum Castle that you keep an eye out for the speed marks, because they haven't been color coded or anything like that to make them stand out. Sorry, the speed humps, because they are quite damaging to the car if you go over them and you don't see the ones coming up. So keep your eyes on the bottom of the road as well as looking where you are going.
So here's another picture of the castle, and it really is quite beautiful and really well kept. So it definitely would make a pretty trip up to this area. I know I didn't get to your neck of the woods when we traveled into Scotland, but we'll explore the castles that I visited as well in future episodes. I'm going to stop sharing at the moment to see what other information I can provide to everyone about this castle. So Drum Castle actually has been listed as a category A property since 1987. So it's part of the National Trust. Yes. And so it has had 650 years of ownership, which is just, phenomenal in terms of just keeping things in a good condition. So what's our next castle that we're going to be visiting, do you think?
I don't know. I think I need to have a look around what's in Moray, because I'm away to Lossiemouth in May. So I'm going to have a look and take the kids to see some castles in Moray. I'm sure there's going to be plenty there too. There is Uhurt Castle on the banks of Loch Ness. You might have visited that. In fact, you did visit that one, Jackie, because I have seen your photos. And that would be a really popular one for the tourists to visit, with it being on the banks of Loch Ness.
So since this is our launch of the Castle Road Tour, explain to those like myself who is not from Scotland. There are 32 counties, or what are they called? Districts?
Yeah, area. They're council areas. So
council areas. Okay.
Their local authority areas is how they're determined, and they have the the, like you said, the districts areas. So you've got Aberdeenshire, City, Moray, and Clackmannanshire as well, and as you said, lots of others. So sorry, Jackie, what was your question?
No, that's fine. So there are 32 of them. And so our goal is to, for everyone who's listening or watching, our goal is to hop around Scotland and to highlight and feature within
At least
each of,
one.
at least one in each of the 32 areas, because we know that there's such a variety from castles that are in ruins that are still, you know, quite beautiful, to those that are actually some that you can even stay in, to those that are just museums that you can just visit. So we're going to have, you know, a road trip around Scotland to visit all the castles. This is the first, you know, of many. But I know,
Yes.
go ahead.
So sorry, Jackie. So on that point, if people are going to go visiting lots of castles around Scotland, it probably would be better if they're going to be going inside to just go into the National Trust for Scotland's website and just get the annual pass. I do think that they are doing free unlimited visits at the minute with the pass, and you can usually choose family ones, individual ones, etc., things like that. It usually does work out to be pretty cost effective if you're actually going to go inside and enjoy the facilities that they have. There's another castle called Crathis Castle. I believe that has an activity centre called Go Ape next to it. So maybe actually I might go to that one quite soon and take the kids off there to burn off some energy. And that's as it imagines, it's like big climbing frames for human monkeys that just want to go climb all over the place like my children. So, you know, just to go and enjoy those wild woods while they're there. And they have segways as well for the older ones that don't want to walk. So it's the best of both worlds. But also, I'm not sure if you can still do it now, but you certainly used to be able to use your Tesco club card points and visit you were able to swap your club card points for the tourist card.
We'll look into all that, and be sure to check out all of the other discounts and information and web links that we're going to be sharing on our blog, because we definitely want to make sure that when you go over, that you have a great experience. I know on Love Travel Scotland, as well as on the other talk show, J Cooper Travels, there are many individuals that we've interviewed who have outdoor businesses. If you want to go, in addition to the castles, if you want to go hiking, if you want to go kayaking, if you want to go canoeing, or any which way. And so again, definitely subscribe to Love Travel Scotland and check out the various you know, places that we're talking about, as well as individuals that we're trying to support locally in Scotland. Yvette, any last minute thoughts before we hit the road to our next
I was
castle?
just going to say, any last minute thoughts are when people start traveling again and they're looking to travel around Scotland, that they should definitely get in touch with you, because you may be able to help them out with a discount code that might help them benefit and save money on their trip. So yeah, that was just my last minute thought. Is I'm super excited to get off to my next castle. Don't know which one it's going to be yet. Just put that pin in the map and see where it takes me to.
I love it. I love it. I love traveling like that.
I was actually really grateful thinking about it. I think actually, I can't actually remember what castle it was at. It might even have been Drum Castle or maybe Crathis, but last year, and I'll need to look for the pictures, was we did a little archaeological dig with the older children. And yeah, it was the older children, and we were in the grounds and we were helping dig up some of the old outline of what might have been other things that were around the castle and things like that. So that was really exciting, and it was certainly a different opportunity that I've never expected to do, was to go down, meet a group of people, get a bucket, a little trowel, and you know, in one of that shakers to find the things, and then tag and bag things up that could be potentially historical and things like that. So really grateful that I managed to get out and enjoy a castle as well just before lockdown. So that was really nice. So definitely look out for little events that the castles might be having. Some of the castles as well do some dry stone dike building courses, which is definitely a good skill to have, is to know how to build a good wall that's going to last the age of time. I mean, look how we have historical walls in Scotland as well that have just been built and lasted, and now they are protected too. So
They're
yeah,
beautiful. They're beautiful. I know when I traveled by train, that was the things that we could see, in the various fields and everything, are the walls defining the
the different
land.
estates, yeah, yeah, and
Exactly.
the walls, yeah, yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. So we'll definitely be doing road trips to the castles. And the other thing that I know, it just popped into my mind, so we'll make sure to share it with you, is at some point we'll also incorporate, how do you take a train to different castles? Well, we can, do train trips as well. We can also talk about caravan, parks and places that you can, if you're going to be renting a caravan, where you can go. So definitely this is going to be a fun conversation as we go throughout the year. Thank you, Yvette. Talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Great. Thanks, Jackie.